My friends, hello. Neo, hello. Woof, hello. How are you? Anyone else who might be lurking, hello. Sorry I'm late. It was a morning. We'll talk about that in a minute. Oh, you'll be promoted in 5 months, Neo. That's amazing. I popped into Ghost Stream earlier and saw you say that that your coworkers wanted you to do more presentations and that you were thinking about doing it. Bureaucracy takes its time. That is true. Bureaucracy does take its merry time. Does this mean you're getting promoted to basically like a presenter? Is that the promotion? It sounds amazing. I think it's awesome if that's what you're going to be doing. But either way, congrats. That's so cool. Wolf, how are you? What are you up to? Reasons I am half an hour late to starting the stream. Mostly, there's just one reason. And the reason is I sat down to do my writing this morning. I was a little late getting started. That seems to be a theme this week. Finally sat down with my coffee, got, midway through a sprint, and the power went out. And I'm not on a laptop anymore, so this is the first time that the power went out, like when I was mid-scene. So then I had a moment of like, oh, when is the last time I saved? Luckily I only lost like 2 lines of actual writing, so thankfully. Save often. Just jam your finger on that save button, friends. But I was really worried when it went out and stayed out because in our area, it always seems like if the power goes out and doesn't come on 2 seconds later, it's going to be out for 10 hours. There's like no, there's not usually an in-between. There's not usually a 35 minutes, which is what it was today. It's usually it comes back right away or it's 10 hours, you lose everything in your fridge. Have a good day. Also, Ghost was alive. Like, Ghost was on stream when this happened. He was down in the laundry room in the complete darkness when the lights went out. And he came up the stairs to find out if the power had gone out in the rest of the house. And he was like, oh, it's fully out. And I was like, yeah. I'll be a presenter. I accepted it 15 minutes ago. That's awesome. Neo, I'm so happy for you. I saw that you said in Ghost Chat that you had come to like it, so I'm glad. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. You're obviously quite good at it. Oops. You're obviously quite good at it, or they wouldn't have had you doing so much of it. So, like, go for it, for sure. OMG. But, yeah, so the power went out. Ghost was able to get in touch with our friend Flannel, who is on the other side of the country. But who, I guess, they must have recently exchanged phone numbers because we're going to meet Flannel when we go out to the East Coast next week. So he was able to get in touch with Flannel to let people know why he just vanished off of stream and didn't come back. And Flannel looked it up for us to find out that there was an outage. I actually checked a little bit ago because I was just curious, like, what caused it. Because usually on a bright sunny day, the power doesn't go out. Like, if it's raining, sure. Like, if it's dropping an atmospheric river on us and there's massive windstorms and trees are falling over, sure. But it was bright and sunny, not a cloud in the sky. Well, some light fluffy ones. No wind. What causes anything? It's normally my fault. Fair, Peter. Also, hey, how are you? But Ghost was like, oh, it's been really hot. The system could be taxed. And I was like, it's not even 30 degrees. Like, we had a 40-degree heat wave last year. And yeah, then the system was taxed. But, like, it's not even 30 today. And he's like, oh, I don't know. It turns out they were doing work. They were doing work and tripped something. Something tripped somehow. They still don't fully know, but it was like 30,000 customers without power for half an hour on a 30-degree day. So it was like, I instantly, like, within 5 minutes of it not coming back on, I just went around the house, closed all the blinds, tried to just get the sunlight out, trap the cool air in. But of course, as soon as the power comes on, there's like 5 things in our house that beep. So we instantly knew as soon as it was over, as soon as it was all coming back. But there was me sitting at the kitchen table with my iPad and my little iPad keyboard trying to just write some stuff because I had no idea how long the power was going to be out. And that little keyboard's not too bad, but it wasn't my favorite for sure. So that was my morning. Then when the power came back on, I had 2 different half-written scenes because I wasn't sure how much it saved of the first scene when the power had gone out. So I just started a different scene in the project I was working on. I had 2 scenes to write this morning, so I was like, whatever, I'll just start the other one. So the power came back on. It was 12 o'clock. I had 2 half-written scenes. And I was like, all right, I got to figure out, and they were both on different computers. So I was like, I got to figure out how to organize this. Hey, Snoz. I'll be here but lurky. No problem. Enjoy your lurkin'. I'm just ranting about my morning. So that was fun. It was an interesting morning. I instantly was just like, instead of trying to keep my schedule, I'm just going to push everything back half an hour. I'm just gonna make the best I can. Ooh, that's an interesting heart, Snoz. I like it. The cauldron one. Nice, nice. Yeah, the power loss. Yeah, I was not thrilled that I was mid-sentence in a scene and the power went out and I was just like, okay. Also, I was like not even halfway through my coffee, so I had to drink a significant portion of my coffee at lukewarm temperature this morning because I was like, drink as much of much of it as I can before it gets completely cold, but also hope that the power comes back on for me to heat it back up at some point. It was a morning. I'm sad. I like preparing jobs for the teams and the other prep guys are not so obsessed with detail. I mean, I don't know how things work like with your job description, but maybe you'll be able to do both, ? But also now no one will be able to give you a hard time because, you know, you won't have to deal with those people anymore. You should hold sunglasses in the air and when someone is like, what are you doing? Be like, I'm making the air cooler. I should do that. I'd rather you be safer. That's true. That's a good point, Neo. Your job that you're doing now is probably safer. My friend Kitchen Witches. Kitchen Witch! I follow someone on Twitter called Kitchen Witch. I wonder if it's the same person. I think it's Kitchen Witch. Anyway, that's an awesome emote. I love it. I'll have to check out the channel. What was I saying? I just feel really out of sorts because that just knocked my whole day out of whack. But Ghost had eaten lunch prior because he was streaming, right? So he ate an early lunch. He actually was eating lunch while I was eating breakfast, which was kind of funny. Just to give you guys an idea of how out of sync our days actually are. But the power was out and I was like, at least you ate lunch. I can't even do that because I was planning on eating a sandwich today and all of our bread is currently frozen. And I was like, unless I want to go light up the grill and try to figure out how to grill toast, I can't even eat a sandwich for lunch. So it was, oh my goodness, pardon me. It was interesting to say the least. But I'm here now. I got my morning work done. I'm only, let's be honest, I'm not that late to the stream. And, you know, I usually spend like 40 minutes talking at the top of stream anyway. So here we are. Not too abnormal of a day. I'm gonna save, oh gosh, I almost hit the, close OBS button. That would have been fun. You'll be on TV with your new job, Neo? All right. Actually, no. Neo, what are you doing to me? Oh my goodness. story 14. All right. So we got that saved. We got it on the desktop. You guys can't see it, but there it is. Okay. I'm just like, oh my God. I've actually only done one uninterrupted sprint today. Well, that's not true. 2. But I've actually only done 2 uninterrupted sprints today because I basically started one, got halfway through, the power went out. And then I didn't know. I was like, all right, theoretically, if the power is going to be out for 10 hours, then I only have the battery of on my iPad, which thankfully was fully charged. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to turn on my keyboard and a notepad and nothing else, because then I won't run down my battery as fast. So I had like no concept of how long I had been writing for or how many words I had written before the house beeped. And so, yeah, part of me is like, it'll be nice to do just regular sprints. And part of me is like, what is going to happen when I turn on the timer? Also, while I'm just ranting about things, I used to use this online timer through Google. Like, I would just search online timer and Google would bring up this timer. And it was nice because I could set any time I wanted. I could mute it. I could make it full screen. It was this nice big silent counter. And it's gone. It's just totally... If I go on Google and do... It's not here anymore. It doesn't exist. So someone said if you do set timer, you can do this, but all it brings up is like YouTube timers. And I was like, and my problem is like, I've tried a bunch of different, like, this is just obnoxious looking, but I've tried a bunch of different ones and like they all make noise and you can't mute it. Like I even tried downloading a Chrome extension today because I was like, all right, Chrome extension timer, let's see. And so I downloaded it and it just beeps obnoxiously. And I don't want my timer to beep when it's done because I don't want it to interrupt me. If I'm like in the zone and I notice out of the corner of my eye that the timer has reached 0, I want to just keep going until I'm ready to stop and then deal with it. But if it beeps at me, then that's going to be jarring and it might like interrupt my focus. I'm like, why is it so hard to find just a simple timer that does everything that Google's timer does? Why? Also, Halo Banshee, hello! Thank you for the hydrate. We're doing it now. Hydration, important. OMG. So anyway... That was my morning, and now the universe has me living in perpetual fear of being interrupted when I start a sprint. But today, we're doing some writing. We've been doing mostly editing, so I'm sure it will be, for those of you who like the keyboard ASMR, I'm sure it will be a relief to actually get, you know, hopefully 20 minutes of it uninterrupted. Today I am doing story number 14 in my 22 stories in 2022 project. The 20 stories in 2022 project is essentially, I've gotten all of the prompts online. Some of them are prompts that I wouldn't normally use, but I've just kind of accepted and embraced. I am trying to make sure that they all fit into the multiverse in which my stories take place. I'm trying to avoid main characters. I'm gonna break that rule today, guys, but it's warranted. I'm trying to avoid main characters for the most part, and I'm trying to not necessarily repeat worlds too often. I'm being a bit loosey-goosey with these rules because it's for fun, and if I have a really cool idea, like I do today, I feel like just writing whatever I want to write. So, Renegade. By the way, how are the sound levels? I assume someone would have said something by now if you guys couldn't hear me, but if you can't hear me, let me know. Or don't, and I'll just keep blabbing at myself. Today's prompt is in the title, but it is a calm settles over the crowd, or settled past tense over the crowd. This is not the kind of prompt that I would normally do because, again, it's very broad and general, and I don't necessarily... These kind of prompts don't usually spark a lot of interest in me. They don't usually spark a lot of, like, muse in me, ideas for me. Sounds good? Thank you, Neo. I appreciate it. Also, I'm glad to see you back around. You were gone for so long. The prompt is a calm settled over the crowd. It's also in the title. If anyone is like, I forgot what it is, it's in the title of the stream. So you can't spell prompt without Peter. I mean, most of the letters are the same. So it's all there. The E's are invisible. You just, you know, you have to acknowledge the invisible letters. It's not the kind of prompt I would normally do because it's very broad, it's very general. But I've been trying to embrace all the prompts that I found online, and do them and give them due course. Today I'm actually going to write something for a world that has been kicking around in my head for about 2, maybe 3 years. It's fairly new in terms of my ideas. It's only been kicking around since we moved into this house, which most of my ideas predate this house. So, it is a world that I haven't written anything for yet. So there's not a single word written about this universe anywhere on my blog or anywhere. You won't find, when we did the vampire one, if you had gone and searched on my blog, there was a prompt that you could find. There was only one, but it was there. I've not written anything for this. I think I vaguely mentioned in passing the existence of this world to Woof. Woof, I hope you're listening because secrets are happening like right now. I vaguely mentioned it in passing to Woof, I think once, that I had this idea, but I don't think I told him much about it. So this is one of those ideas where I really like the idea, but I feel like talking about the idea is going to make me feel silly. So whatever, we're diving in. Pug! Hello! Yes! I'm about to reveal some secrets about a brand new project that has not had anything written about it yet. We're gonna pioneer this project in today's prompt. Commence the secrets. I shall. So the inspiration for this project is an anime called Yuri on Ice, which probably won't appeal to many of the people who typically watch certain types of anime because it's not a fighting anime. It's actually quite short. I think it was only about like 20 or 24 episodes. It is a sports anime, which I don't usually get into, but this one is about ice skating, which I do have a history with the sport of figure skating. For various reasons. The anime is called, I'll type it in, it's called Yuri on Ice. I'll type it into the chat. They robbed me. I wish there was more episodes. Right? I desperately wanted them to make a sequel. I don't know. It took them so long to make the first one, though, that I don't know if they ever will. It is one of the only ones that I have watched through all the way. It's so good. It is about gay ice skaters. Yeah. So it's about, there's 2 characters named Yuri, which makes it a little bit confusing. But it's about a character named Yuri who is a figure skater. I believe his name was Yuri. And he idolized this other figure skater, this very, prominent, very popular figure skater, Victor, who I believe was Russian, ? And he sort of went into figure skating to emulate him, to emulate his hero. And it's kind of a story about how he sort of copied, he like failed out of the competition that he went into. And he, as a like way to cheer himself up, he copied the program that this very famous figure skater had done. And when this other figure skater sees on YouTube this younger figure skater perfectly dancing his routine, he decides to become his coach. And so it's basically it's a little bit sports anime, it's a little bit romance, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. They actually had people do all of the figure skating routines. They filmed all of the figure skating routines with live figure skaters before animating them. They did tons of research into the actual sport and how figure skaters interact with their fans and like what they actually do in their off time, and like they did tons of research. So it's a really well done anime. I watch all anime. I don't have a specific style. Well, you should watch Yuri on Ice, Naz. I don't want to say too much more, but it's really good. It's super sweet, very wholesome. They understood the assignment absolutely, Pug. And I am not ashamed to say I cried through this anime. It was so beautiful. They did a really good job of, for me, the most important thing in a story is always the characters. And they did a really good job of making characters that felt like three-dimensional, complicated people with three-dimensional, complicated problems who weren't perfect and sometimes made mistakes, well, while at the same time showing sort of behind-the-scenes aspects of the sport, right? Like, there's a part where the coach is like, I won't let you skate again until you lose this much weight, right? And it shows the main character like busting his ass to lose a bunch of weight because it's a thing involved in the sport. They didn't shy away from sort of the less wholesome aspects of like the more grueling aspects of what it actually takes to be part of the sport in the anime. So it's really good. Funimation, I'm not sure. I think I watched it on Crunchyroll back in the day. I'm not sure where you would find it now. But it's definitely worth it if you can find it. It's super good. I have the power of God and anime on my side. I'm also sweet and wholesome. You are sweet and wholesome, Peter. We're so lucky to have you. Pug is sweet and wholesome too. Look, we've got all the sweet and wholesome people here. Whiff hasn't said anything for a while, which makes me worry that he's not able to get these secrets and then he's going to be super sad later. So I actually have an idea inspired. Snaz, you're sweet and wholesome too. Let's be honest. If you're a tiny bit of a bad influence, that's okay. We need that sometimes. Let's be honest. The sweet and wholesome brigade. Neo, you are absolutely not disposable. Not at all. We missed you while you were gone. 100%. While you were on your trip and recovering from your trip, we missed you quite a bit. Disposable, I'm Peter. The strong must protect the sweet. Exactly. Because the world needs more wholesome brigade. So I have an idea that's roughly based on Yuri on Ice in that it's about a bunch of male figure skaters falling in love while ice skating. Like most of my worlds, it takes place in a fantasy, like non-existent world because I don't really do a lot of real world slice of life writing. So I always have to find magic and elves and stuff in there somewhere. But the idea is that it's one of my Damarin multiverses, so get ready because Damarin's in it. My sweet grumpy elf boy. The idea is that it starts out with I haven't written any of this yet. So this is basically like novel pitch 101. It's a group of figure skaters, young male figure skaters. So they would probably be like in their early 20s. Because if you think about like when people are actually competing, they're late teens, early 20s, right? So there'd be the equivalents of, very early adulthood. participating in an ice skating competition. And 2 of the characters are on one Fantasy Kingdom team. And one of them sort of starts to get this crush on a skater, Domerin, who is the representative of another fantasy country, which is far away and quite different from their own. These ideas are in the primordial soup of the pre-mind. They are, Pug. They're taking shape as we discuss them. They're becoming from void. They're becoming solid. This is what I love about writing. Oh yeah, big crush. And so this character, whose name is Sesha, who starts to have this crush on Domerin, skater Domerin. Hey, Laurel, I can barely regular skate. I can never figure skate. Oh, same. Big same. I have nothing but admiration for people who can put blades on their feet and move gracefully. Hang on, let me take off the hoodie because it's afternoon and therefore hot. So Sesha starts to get this crush on Domerin Skater because Domerin Skater has this very fluid, very precise method of skating, and he has a reputation for never falling, which is it's a big deal because everybody falls when they practice their spins, right? It's very common for figure skaters to fall during a spin or while they're practicing a spin, but Domerin has a reputation for never falling. And so there becomes this debate between Sesha and Crescent, his colleague, as to whether or not Domerin is what we would call an artistic skater, someone who skates for the art and the joy, or someone who is more mathematical. And one of the reasons why he's so precise and never falters is because he has a more geometric method of skating. And because Sesha has a crush and is like into the artistry and whatnot, he's like, no, Domerin is an artist. But then he meets his crush, and instantly Domerin is like, no, it's all geometry. It's all geometry. It's all, and you can actually look up the science of figure skating. It's math, it's physics. It's all about angles and speeds and the precise moment at which you exert muscle control and movement at a certain position in order to carry you through the turns. You can actually look this stuff up on YouTube. It's very fascinating. Velocity and art, exactly. Mathematics and motion. He was a skater, Domerin. She said, see you later, Domerin. He wasn't skate enough for her, exactly. Scotty knows how to skate, but she's literally a winter deity. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, she's the queen of ice. So it gets off to a bit of a rocky start between these two. But despite having his dreams crushed by finding out that the boy he has a crush on is is not artiste the way he is, they sort of kick it off, you know. There's obviously, I'm not going to go too deeply into the plot. They kind of kick it off. Friendship happens. And then the romance is a big portion of this, like the romance between Sesha and Skater Domerin. Sesha's also a skater. Skater Sesha and Skater Domerin. Is that the romance is pretty central to the story, but because it's me and because I can never just write straight romance, there's other strife going on in this world. And one of the big important things to this particular world is the kingdom that Skater Domerin comes from, because I mentioned that he comes from a place that's quite far away and quite different from the place where Sesha and Crescent grew up and where they represent. And he comes from a war-torn country. Domerin comes from a war-torn country, a place that has only recently sort of escaped civil war, like come to peace, come to a new government. And he has become a refugee in another country. He's actually skating for a country different than his country of origin. And he was sort of sponsored as a refugee to this other place because of his skill. And one of the reasons why he skates is actually because it helps him deal with the traumas of his past. And without going too deep into the darker side of this story, Dahmern was a child soldier. He was taken from his parents at a young age and forced to train and fight as a soldier. So he's a survivor. He's someone who has seen a lot of conflict, a lot of death, come through to the other side. And the reason why everything is pure mathematics to him, why it's all calculations and mental focus, is because that's what allows him to deal with his traumas. He fills his mind with these precision mathematical equations that translate into motion and into art on the ice. And this is how he sort of deals with everything. And of course, because it's me and because I can't ever just write a straight romance, the place that Dahmern comes from comes to conflict again during the course of this competition. And he has to make a decision whether or not he's going to stay safe in this new life that has been offered to him as a result of the fact that he has some talent, or if he's going to go back to the place where he came from and protect the people, the children who are facing the same kind of fate and suffering that he did when he was young. You know how to pull them strings. Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, how does he make this choice? How does he choose between the second chance that he's been given? Does he throw that away, or does he ignore these people who are going to suffer the same fate as him, these children who will suffer the same fate as him if he doesn't go back and try to protect them? I'm so invested. I'm glad you like it, Pug. I've not really talked about this plot a ton before. So this is kind of the pitch. This is kind of the hook of the story, is that Skater Dahmern has been given this new lease on life. He's been given this sort of freedom from the traumas of his past, and he has to decide whether or not he's going to go back and do something about sort of the reignition of all these things from his past. And so how does that tie into what we're writing today? I had this idea. Obviously, I'm sure you can see the overtones of the issues in our society where this story comes from. I mean, these are things that exist in our world. There are children who have been torn from their homes and turned into soldiers. There are refugees who are struggling to be accepted and make new lives elsewhere in the world. And meanwhile, much of the world turns, their gazes in a different direction and sort of tries to ignore the fact that these are real things. So I had this idea for a scene that would actually come later in the story. So we're jumping ahead a little bit here. This is the first scene I'm going to write for this story, but it sticks in my mind a lot because the idea is that, instead of giving up this competition and instead of ignoring what's happening in his home country, Dahmern's kind of trying to do both. He's trying to kind of keep his feet in both of these worlds. He's trying to find a way to do good and protect people that need him, but he's also trying to use this sort of foothold that he's gained into this other life to draw attention to the plight of these other people who are less fortunate than he is. And so I had this idea for him to have come to sort of the late stage in this competition. He's disappeared. He's gone back home for a while. No one really knows. You got to commit this MF to paper. I must know what happens. It's in the plan. There are like 14 different Dahmern worlds, and this is one of them. I do plan on writing this whole story out someday, I promise. I don't know when, that's the problem. We're going to write some of it today, though. The idea is that Dahmern has sort of stepped away, gone back to his kingdom, and no one really knows, no one who knows him really well really knows what he's been doing while he's been gone, but the news coming from that area is bad, right? War is happening, people are dying, and sort of Sesha and Crescent, his good friends who have become very close to him throughout the story, don't really know what's going on with him. And so the time is coming for Damarin to do his performance. Nobody knows where he is, or if he's going to show up, or if he's going to forfeit. And at the nth moment, at the 11th hour, he shows up to do a routine. And there's a lot of connotations involved, which we probably won't write about today because Sesha and Crescent, his good friends. Woof, you're here! I hope you've been listening because there's been secrets. There have been revelations. And so what I actually want to write today for this prompt, A Calm Settles Over the Crowd, is I actually want to write Damarin's routine. And so the idea that I have for this routine, it's very vivid in my mind. Because this is a young man who has come through war, not once now, but twice. And he's trying to find a way to show people the reality that he's dealing with, the reasons why he's made the choices that he's made, which are some very controversial choices. And so the idea that I have for this routine is that he comes onto the ice covered in bandages, like wrapped in bandages, rather than wearing the usual, like if you think about when you see a figure skating routine, they're usually wearing these very, very beautiful skin tight, like stage outfits. Usually it's like sequins and patterned colors. So he could be the voice of the voiceless. Well, that is what he's trying to be, Neo. Absolutely. And so he comes onto the ice in these bandages, and he begins to dance, you know, this very fluid, typical routine of his. But as he's doing the routine, he actually unwinds the bandages and reveals what is underneath. And he's actually injured underneath. There's actual injuries. So when you first see him, it just seems like it's a sort of artistic touch, like he's dressed himself in a costume. But as he unravels more and more of this costume, you see genuine, like actual cuts and bruises underneath. And so the idea, the concept is that through this artistry, through this dance, he's trying to show the brutality of war, of what's happening, while these other people are, you know, celebrating this competition, while they're paying attention to all these things that don't really matter to him. And he's sort of showing this this brutality, this consequence of what's happening. But he's also throwing the bandages onto the ice. And if you guys have ever seen anything like Ice Castles, right, which is another figure skating story, it's actually dangerous to have anything sort of on the ice. Like if you notice, they often throw flowers onto the ice at the end of a routine, but not during the routine, not while the figure skater is dancing. So he's actually unraveling these bandages and throwing them onto the ice, making this routine more treacherous, more dangerous for him to do. And so this is the scene that I want to write today, you know, because I only challenged myself a tiny bit. I want to I'm not going to write it from his perspective. I want to write it from a viewer's perspective. So it's going to be written from Sesha's perspective, of him watching this routine as it unfolds. And it's important to note that nobody knows that Damarin's going to do this before he does it, right? Everyone assumes that he has vanished and isn't going to show up and is just going to forfeit the competition because he's gone back to deal with this war. And so it's this very unexpected sort of moment of discovery of what is actually happening. And so that's the scene that we're going to write for this prompt. Long-winded way of explaining what we're doing today, but that's the story that I sort of thought up when I was thinking about this prompt. Because of course the idea is what causes the crowd to settle down, what causes them to stop whatever they were doing before. And so my idea for that, and like my answer to that, is essentially Damarin coming onto the ice covered in bandages. So it's just a very small chunk of this story. It's not going to explore. There's a lot of events meant to lead up to this moment. And obviously there's a lot of story that would come after this moment. But this is a scene that's been quite vividly in my head for a while. So I actually want to commit it to paper. That's what we're going to try and write. Thank you guys for letting me blabber on about this and for being interested in the story. I am hoping to write the full thing someday. And when I do, this will actually become a scene in the novel. I would probably transpose it, update it so that it fits whatever I've actually written. But the plan is to basically write a teaser chunk of that novel right now that will eventually go on my blog, and then someday when I actually get to writing this world, this will actually go into the novel. So I missed something that Laurel said. This is actually somewhat similar to why Velvet was allowed onto Olympus in the first place. She was brought there as a sort of refugee by Juno after helping her out of a situation with some zombies, and Juno saw her helpful potential despite Vel being only 14. Nice! Nice! I'd buy this book. Neo, that means a lot to me because I know that the type of fiction I write isn't necessarily the type of fiction that you read, so I appreciate that. I'm gonna stop yammering and do some actual clicky clacks in a second here, but I just want to say that I am a big believer. Sorry, I gotta breathe. I talked so much, I'm out of breath. I'm a big believer in the idea that one of the reasons why we write science fiction and fantasy is to tell stories about our own world in a way that's easier for people to swallow. If you look at the original Star Trek series, this is what Gene Roddenberry did. He was writing morality plays. He was telling morality stories. And he was dressing them up in science fiction so that they were in a distant future world that's not our world, but they were the issues of our day. And so I never write a story. My primary reason for writing a story is always to entertain. Everything I've ever written, I've written it because I want to tell a story and I want people to read that story and feel emotions and you know, enjoy, escape into that story. But I also get a lot of inspiration from the world that we live in and the issues of the day, and I try to take some of those higher concepts and weave them into my worlds. I mean, in the Celestial Serenade, one of the big sort of other issues that pops up a lot is the brutality of war. Again, the consequences of war. How despite perceptions, there usually isn't a good guy and a bad guy. It's usually two sides that are doing shitty things because they're trying to survive or protect their way of life. But one that also cropped up a lot in there is an old debate from back when Ghost and I first got married, which is, what is torture and is it an acceptable way to interrogate people? And what do we constitute torture and how do we talk about torture? So it's really kind of easy to find inspiration in the real world. And so I think it's important to address those issues, even in fantasy worlds, because yeah, I could create a perfect ideal world, but it would be a boring story if I did. So to me, it feels like a sort of creative way of framing an issue that is something that is quite relevant to the world that we live in today, but also in a way that isn't super depressing as well. There have actually been sci-fi books that have somewhat predicted some events that actually happened. Yeah, I mean, people who write like hard sci-fi, people who write like, I just kind of make shit up and say technology does it. There are people who actually study real science and write books that are based on real science, that actually, that actually have a really good handle on potential real world happenings. But for me, it's a way to explore issues that feel important in palatable ways, I guess, is a way to put it. So it's one of the reasons why I want to tackle this project. I'm going to blow my nose here for a second, so we'll get Angry Domerin since I haven't written anything yet. I hope I'm not like super, super close to my microphone. But yeah, so that's what we're going to try to write. I expect this to be a little bit rough because I haven't written anything with these characters in this particular world yet. I've just sort of rolled it around in my brain a little bit. So, if the words are a bit halting at first, if it takes a little extra time, hopefully it won't take too much time though, because I yammered on for 40 minutes. And we got to eat dinner at some point today. But hopefully I'll be able to... I'm slowly working on my boring book. I'm sure it's not as boring as you say, Neo. Torture is stupid because the tortured person will admit everything to stop the pain. It's random and not... I mean, studies have shown time and again that torture is not a reliable form of interrogation, but that hasn't stopped us from trying to do it anyway. Humans, we don't learn very well, I must say. I'm trying to think of what I want my first sentence to be while I'm blowing my nose, because that's going to be what gets us going here. I feel like I had picked an opening line earlier in the day, and now I can't think of what it was gonna be. This is ever the problem with writers, is that your brain comes up with something, you're like, I'll remember that. Spoiler, it doesn't. So what was my first line gonna be? I love how I just went through this whole brilliant introspection. Everyone was like, this is wonderful. And now I'm like, words, what are they? How do I do this? I guarantee you my book is boring. It's not going to be boring to everybody, Neo. It's going to be interesting to someone. All right. Brain. As long as you're happy about it, that's the most important thing. Brain. Function. Please. Do the thing. Do the thing that you do. I know where I'm going to start. My brain does that. I always thought it was the ADHD. I'm sure that the ADHD contributes, but I think every brain has an aspect of just not wanting to cooperate. Part of me was like, I should just get up and take a quick break, because usually if I walk away from my computer, I instantly think of something, but I have an idea that I want to start with. The prompt is a calm settles over the crowd, so I want to start with noise. I think that's where we're going to start, is with cacophony. So I hope that this stream is not getting like robot-y or lagging because my OBS keeps like flashing red, which I assume means it's not interneting the best. So if for some reason there's frame drops or lag or something, please let me know. It could be because Ghost and I are streaming at the same time. It could be because, I don't know. It could be other reasons. But hopefully it's, slight lag and frame skipping at times, but not dropping much. Okay. If it gets bad, let me know. I don't know that there's much I can do about it because I think it probably has something to do with the fact that the power went out earlier. The stream is lagging for 3 or 4 seconds. Yeah, it's gone back to green now. So I'm gonna try doing a sprint. I'm hopefully gonna fill your ears with lots of clicky clackies. But if it, okay, nothing bad. Yeah, if it starts to get like super bad or something, flail in the chat and let me know. All right, we're doing 20 minutes today because we're writing. Let's see how many words we can pound out in this 20 minutes here. Ghost is stealing all the bandwidth. I mean, he definitely needs more of it for what he's streaming, so... Go into a stream. Tell him we need some of those kilobytes per second. We need some of those bits. We need some of those bytes. Bites? I don't know. Well, if biting my router would help, I'd be all for it. I'm not a moderator. I will not help. Okay. All right, Neo. he just gave me a shout out instead. That's hilarious. Oh, my wife wants some bits, does she? Thank you, Snaz. That's hilarious. Riot in progress in Ghost Chat. Aw, you guys, you're so sweet. Demand those bites. We need those bites for clicky clacks. Is that Megalodon? Hello, hey! Welcome to the stream. If I didn't say your name right, let me know. Not much, we're just doing our first writing sprint of the stream, so I'm gonna be a little bit quiet. I'm doing some clicky clackies. But if you're a writer, feel free to tell us what you're working on, or what you're up to, or if you're doing other work, what else you're working on. And if you're just here to chill and vibe with the clicky clacks, please enjoy them. been writing my comic. Oh, nice! It's about a big pharma company that does an experiment to expand human consciousness. Oh, that sounds interesting. Action, horror, and romance. That's super cool. I've never done a comic myself, but I've always been interested in the idea. Cosmic Arcanist, hey, how are you? What is up? What are you up to today? Sorry if I'm a little bit quiet because I am clicky-clacking at the moment, but please feel free to let us know how things are going in chat. Here for Clicky Clacky. Well, I'm glad because Clicky Clacks are happening. This is my editing stream for the week. My writing stream for the week. I've been editing mostly, so it's nice to actually just free the fingers a bit. Gonna go to sleep. Tomorrow will be a busy day. Good night, Neo. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'm glad to hear about your promotion. Celebrate in the morning and take care. It's got zombies, telepaths, and a talking gorilla named Sam. Very cool. So are you doing, Megalodon, are you doing the writing and the art for the comic? Or are you doing like one half and someone else is doing? Like, are you working with someone or are you doing the whole thing? Because I've always thought it would be really cool to write a comic, but I have no idea how we would do the art. Need to find the right artist. Just the writing. I need an artist. Yeah, I feel you there. I have some really cool comic ideas, but I have no idea how to do the art. I think I found another favorite quote scene. Nice, Laurel. Is it one that you wrote just now? I'm an artist that's always looking for book covers to illustrate. And your art is amazing. Should I shout out your channel, Cosmic? I was gonna say, do you do your, I don't remember if you do your art on stream, but check out Cosmic Arcanist because their art is amazing. Halo, thank you for the hydrate and the stretch. Oh yeah. Gonna take a moment, get those fingies off the keyboard. Time for streamer to take care of themselves. Yes, I'm gonna stretch my fingies too. Thank you, Halo. Haven't been able to stream in a long time, but you can find my links there. Yes, check out a Cosmic's art. And hey, even if you haven't streamed in a while, give Cosmic Arcanist a follow so that you can know the next time there is a stream. I forgot how to spell words for a minute there. gonna stop mid-sentence because that's what I do. Sprint timer is over. We got 841 words. Pretty good considering I had no idea how to start there for a hot minute. Also wanted to say I really like your writing style. Oh, thank you so much. I usually got a full screen to read, so I do it every once in a while. I don't always show the words that I'm writing, but these ones, the 22 stories in 2022, will actually go up on my blog. So there's no point in hiding them because they will be free for everyone to read, and you guys may as well see them as they're getting formed. But I appreciate that, Cosmic Arcanist. I'm always a little nervous about people reading the raw stuff that I write on stream because this is not always the best. But I appreciate you taking the time. It's the one I'm about to write. Vel comments on how Juno doesn't seem to be in much pain from her laser injury, and Juno just goes, well, I've had a bunch of kids, so I must have become immune to pain. Of course, she doesn't mean that literally, just emphasizes how she taught herself to ignore certain things when more major things are going on. That makes sense. Especially, I think that would make sense for a mom. Oh my gosh, it's 4:15 already. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, now that I've started this, words are just ready to spill out of my brain. I totally understand that it's before editing, but I still enjoy it. Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying so. I've kind of trained myself to not worry too much, to try not to worry too much about how raw something is, like when I'm first writing it. We talk about this a lot on stream, but one of the hardest things is always accepting that while something is in progress, it will be imperfect. And so I try not to worry too much about choosing the exact right words or getting things in the exact right order. For the shorts, I'm a little bit more picky because I probably won't really edit them. They just kind of get put on my blog so people can see, thoughts in my brain. But definitely when I'm doing manuscript writing, oh my god, words. It's okay for it to be a little bit pukey the first time. It's okay for it to be a little bit in need of some help because it's not the final draft. It's just me telling myself the story, trying to get the information out of my head, trying to get everything into a nice spot. And I think that's one of the things that trips writers up the most is letting something be bad for a little while. Like our inner perfectionist is just like, I gotta fix everything, and then you never get anywhere. So I've kind of trained myself to accept some imperfections, and then of course I go back and try to fix them later, but I am just going to text Ghost and see if he wants some tea, because I think I might make some tea quick before the next sprint. That's a great mindset. Yeah, that's the mindset I try to encourage other writers to have. It took a long time. Like, I won't say, yeah, I've always been really good about it, because I definitely have not, and I definitely still struggle with it sometimes. But it's important to realize that if your inner editor is preventing you from moving forward, you probably just need to tell it to just shut up and get in the closet for a few minutes so that you can do stuff. He said, yes, please. I should say he can have tea in exchange for bits. Give us the bites. Give us the internet bites. And then you can have tea. I'm not that mean. I'm def not that mean. But yeah, I was really, really nervous when I first started streaming writing because I was like, oh my god. He said, something fruity surprised me. Should we make him some apple cinnamon tea, chat? Should we make Ghost some apple cinnamon tea? Maybe I'll have some apple cinnamon tea. I haven't had apple cinnamon tea in a while, and it's super good. Maybe I should just do a double batch of apple cinnamon tea. Huh. Sounds like a good tea. It is, and I haven't had it in a while. I used to make it as like my evening tea because it's caffeine free. It's an herbal tea, so it doesn't have any caffeine in it. But it's super like it's a super good comfort tea, and it's been that kind of day where I'm just like, I could go for a comfort tea. Juno's been a mom for literally thousands of years, so she probably learned a million things. That makes sense. I made a cherry apple smoothie this morning. Oh, Snaz, that sounds amazing. Were they like frozen? Was the fruit frozen and then you put it in with ice, or was it like fresh? I mean, I get that frozen stuff is often like frozen when it's fresh, but I just wonder if it was frozen, because we often use frozen fruit in our smoothies. I haven't had a smoothie in so long. And we have like a million cherries in the house. I should really make a smoothie at some point. With the million cherries. Anyone who's followed Ghost stream has probably heard this, but we have a cherry tree in our front lawn. When we bought this house, it was already there, but we had no idea that it was a cherry tree. Like when we came to look at the house, it was past season. And so our first year in this house, our first summer in this house, Ghost was like, so there's a cherry tree out front. And this year we actually sprung to have it sprayed so that, because what happens is the birds lay, actually I don't think it's birds, I think it's moths, lay their eggs on the cherries and the grubs burrow into the cherries. And so for the last 2 years, Ghost has kind of tried to just deal with that, but he was like, no, I want to actually like get it sprayed and not have to worry about that this year. So he's just brought in tons and like containers and containers, boxes and boxes of cherries. We have a bag of frozen cherries. We have a bag of chilled cherries in the fridge. We have a box of them sitting on the counter for eating. And he has 2 containers of liqueur. One is cherries, plain cherries, and one is cherry pit liqueur. It's crazy. The cherries were frozen and the apples were fresh. That makes sense. Added ice. Nice! I might have to try that. Super good. I'm gonna pop AFK for a quick bio break because, as Halo said, streamer needs to take care of streamer. I am going to make some quick tea, and then we're gonna do another sprint because I gotta catch up on the clicky clackies. But I'm really happy with how this has started out so far. Just gotta report my words to Game of Tomes, which is a game that the writing community here on Twitch is doing for Camp Nano this month. I really enjoyed it. Sorry, I'm multitasking. No need to be sorry, Snaz. It is assumed that people at these streams are multitasking to some degree. I appreciate you sharing the recipe. I might have to give that a try a little bit later this weekend. Like I said, I'm gonna pop away from keyboard words. I don't know why, but I tried to say AFK and my brain was like, you're not saying that right now. 2 minutes, 3 minutes probably, because I have to boil the kettle, and then I will be back. Just added a cup of cherries and a cup of apples and a touch of almond milk with ice. That sounds perfect! Heck yeah! I'm gonna do that this weekend. BRB, friend. Hey guys, sorry. Tea is taking just an extra minute to make, but it should be done shortly. I need all the fall type things right now. It's so hot. I know, right? And I want like pumpkin everything already, but of course there's not anything pumpkin or apple pie. I really want, there's this really good apple pie flavored moonshine that we get at like Thanksgiving time that we use to make these really good drinks, but we can't have them right now because the apple pie moonshine isn't being sold. So I need it to be fall so I can have my apple pie moonshine. Working with a hyper vampire. I am not sure how you would deal with that. I'm gonna go grab this tea now. I know I came back for like 30 seconds, but I was like, I've been gone for so long. It's because I'm making two cups of tea. It just took extra time to boil the kettle. But this is tea bag tea, so it doesn't need to steep super long. I'm just gonna go throw some honey and oat milk in there, and then it will be good to go. I'm like chomping at the bit to get back to this scene because I'm really excited about it now that I'm actually writing it. I'm gonna go do that. Just wanted to check in with y'all. I'm going to give you a nice me drinking tea to keep you company while I go just throw some honey and oat milk in there and let Ghost know that his tea is ready. You might be able to hear me. got some apple cinnamony goodness. It's almost like an apple pie. Not quite. It's almost like an apple pie in glass. Found a sign at Dollar Tree today that said pumpkin spice and everything nice. Nice! I like it. Whoops. Whoops. Texting Ghost to let him know he can come claim his tea on my Kraken phone. All right. Alright, let's get that clicky clacky Bruce Campbell soup! I got tea for you right here. Cheers, my friend. I would USB this to you if I could. Thank you so much for 9 months. What are we calling the Twitch baby? Browse. I like the idea of decorating for fall in the middle of summer to get into that fall state of mind. Bruce Campbell Soup, how are you? What are you up to? My OBS keeps flashing red again. No! You're just in time for the next round of clicky clacks. I lost my button. There it is. I was like, what am I doing? Enjoy, Ghost. I'm sure you can't hear me because you're already streaming again, but you're welcome. You have a newsletter, but I was wondering if you have a Discord. I do have a Discord. I share it with Ghost. So if you're in Ghost Pepper's Discord, you may already be there. But there is a section called Striker's Library where we basically talk about writing and we talk about tea. You can use the whole Discord, of course, but that's sort of the little section that's devoted to moi. And no worries, I knew what you meant, Cosmic Arcanist. Incidentally, I'm just plain Striker over there instead of Starborn Striker, but if you ever want to message me, feel free. I think Velvet needs to go outside and have a run around. Good luck with getting her out there, Laurel. Just got done telling Ghost that I've been doing super well. I'm going to be starting a new job and I'm super excited. That's awesome. Tell us about the new job if you want to / can. If not, congratulations. I'm super excited for you. I'm joining. Thanks for joining the Pepper Patch, Cosmic Arcanist. I'd love to say we have secret parties on there, but we don't. We should actually do that more often. Like, every day. Incidentally, oh, I shouldn't do this in the middle of a sprint, but for any of you who are interested in Dungeons & Dragons, my husband, Ghost Pepper, is holding a special planning stream tomorrow wherein anyone who is in Twitch chat at the time can vote on a dungeon layout for a one-shot, a Winds of Chaos one-shot, which is going to be starting on Tuesday. So if you would like to throw some chaos at the Winds of Chaos crew, check that out tomorrow. It will be on the Ghost Pepper channel. I'm not allowed to be there because I'm gonna be in the one-shot. Epheme's gonna be there. But if any of you would like to create chaos for us to deal with, hop over there tomorrow afternoon and vote. I'm sure Chaos would like to cause some chaos. Well, drop by Ghost stream and you can. I am not allowed to know many details, but I am excited to see what y'all come up with for us to do. Blow my nose, hang on. I'll bring all my chaotic characters. I'm sure they'll give you some good inspiration. Yes, absolutely. It's IT at a college campus. Ooh, nice. It's much less hours than my previous job, but the pay is better, so it evens out. At my previous job, I was working 60 plus hours a week in a position that had no growth and no advancement, so I just needed to get out. I'm excited to see what I'll do with the 20 extra hours. Nice! Well, I'm glad to hear that you found something better. I know IT can be really demanding because I used to work in IT too before I started writing full time, and let me tell ya, everyone expects you to be on call all the time, and it sucks. Hopefully with a college campus, you'll have actual, like, off hours and weekends that you don't need to be, like, tied to your office, because that would be amazing. Good luck, Bruce Campbell Soup. I'm so happy you found that. It sucks when you work your butt off and there's just nowhere to go, right? And I think people tend to have unrealistic expectations about IT workers as well. So good for you. Ooh, break time. It was an unexpected end. We're at 1,784 words. I tell ya, now that I've shaken this free, them words are flowing. We started here. Where did we start? It was mid-sentence. I recall now. It was at the semicolon. We started at the semicolon. 902 words that sprint. Pretty good. Happy with that. Honestly, if I hadn't been hitting the save button at the exact time that the timer ran out, I think I would have just kept going for an extra minute or two. But that's 902 words for that sprint. We're at 1,784 total. I'm into the meat of this. I'm really enjoying this. It's so good. Heck yeah, get that flow going. Yes. Yeah, my brain was cobwebby at first, but now that it's awake, watch out words. Report my words for Game of Tomes. I know I mentioned this kind of before the last sprint, but for anyone who's not familiar with the Game of Tomes, the writer community does do this really spectacular event during Nano and Camp NaNoWriMo months. That's National Novel Writing Months. Right now it's a tourney, so it's not quite as spectacular as the one in November, so I'm told. But the idea is that writers lurk in one of the official streams while they're writing, report the amount of words that they've written to their house. I am House Molesca, because of course there are like 3 octopus things within 5 feet of me. And the houses compete to see who will win the Iron Tome. And this week, the power writers in the group, of which I am not currently because I'm editing this month, so my word counts are low. But the power writers have undertaken to write 50K in 1 week, and the rest of us are attempting to support their attempt to do so. They create amazing lore for this game, and every Friday during the results stream, they play Filk videos and lore videos and just craft this whole story around how things are going. It's amazing. This is my first time, so I'm still learning everything, but everyone involved is super cool. So if you're interested, I'm actually just going to shout out the Game of Tomes Twitch, because I am currently lurking in there so that I can easily report. Ermagerd! Sir Smurts! Peter, thank you so much! I super appreciate it. I honestly don't know what I have done to deserve so many amazing supporters, but thank you so much. You guys are amazing. But yeah, if you check out that Game of Tomes, I don't know that anyone is like actively voiceovering there right now. It's just a sprint lobby. But from there, you can get information about Game of Tomes or any of the other Game of Tomes streams that are happening right now. And one of the official Game of Tomes streamers will be able to tell you a bit more. Oh my gosh, a hype train. Bruce Campbell Soup, what are you doing? Thank you for gifting a sub to Dean. Sorry, the thing of this thing saying a hype train is close just completely derailed me. So yeah, that's the thing. I'm doing it. It's been super fun. I'm still getting the hang of it, so I don't know all of the lore and details. Oh my gosh, Bruce, how do you always have the cutest emotes? Oh my god, you guys didn't. Thank you, Laurel Tabby, for gifting a sub as well. You're amazing, you guys, and Peter for the bits. I don't know what to do about a hype train. This doesn't usually happen on my streams. Oh my god, you guys. Thank you so much. I've got to do it now. Uh-oh. Do what now? What's happening? Oh my god! Bruce Campbell Soup, oh my god. Thank you, Bruce, for, so Laurel gifted a sub to Anne-Marie K. Author. Thank you so much. Bruce Campbell Soup gifted subs to Kai Brightwing, Infinite Dog, Stately Stars, Barely Bookish, and NKAX Leader. Thank you so much. Oh my god. You're so generous. You guys are gonna go unlocking more emotes for me. That's what's gonna happen. Actually, I need to contact Mumbles because I finally have enough to commission her again for another set of emotes. But we've got a trip coming up next week. We're gonna be away from the house, so I'm kind of waiting until we get back. Bruce Campbell Soup, you're so sweet. I think I've mentioned this before, but Bruce Campbell Soup was one of my first supporters, one of my first subscribers here on my first stream, has been lurking and supporting ever since. I super appreciate you. I know you're not the only one. Woof, if you're listening. I know Woof has been here from the beginning. Laurel Tabby's been here from pretty early on as well. Thank you for more bits. You guys are so great. This is a wild and crazy time, and I'm glad I was here for it. Yes, me too. I honestly can't believe that we're at a level 3 hype train. What is happening? You guys are amazing. But yeah, I super appreciate it. I think when I just randomly did my test stream in November, Bruce Campbell Soup was one of the first people to encourage me to keep going, to keep coming back, to keep doing this wild and crazy thing. So thank you, because I probably wouldn't be here. Oh, I don't know if I believe that I deserve it, but you guys deserve all of the love and praise and thanks, because without you guys, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this. So, you know, and every time I turn on the camera, I'm just absolutely just blindsided and gobsmacked by how great this community is, how supportive, how generous. I honestly, you wouldn't believe I'm a writer right now because I cannot find the words to properly express just how good you guys make me feel whenever I turn on the camera and start doing these clicky clackies. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if I can help a single person in return work on their project or get unstuck or feel inspired, then it's worth it. It's totally, totally, totally worth it. Words are difficult. I find them so much easier to write than to speak as well. The later I get in the day, the more I lose my word power because I've put all of it into my writing. So if I'm stumbling over words right now, it's because you guys have just blown me away. And I just can't, I just can't get my brain to words fast and well enough to thank you. So... And Peter, I know your time zone is like as opposite me as it's possible to get, so I appreciate that you come and hang out as much as you do, even if it's only for a couple minutes, and then if you have to pop away or whatever, I appreciate it. And if I've missed somebody, if I've missed mentioning somebody, I know Neo's gone to bed, but Neo's been here from the beginning as well, just supporting and encouraging, so I appreciate it. I appreciate you all. These streams have honestly helped me so much with my own writing. I'm more than happy to show support. I'm just so glad to hear that. Like, honestly, I remember, I know I've said this before, but I remember when I was a new writer and I was struggling to write every day. And I remember so many times just like staring at the screen and thinking, I really want to write something, and just getting to the end of the day and being like, why didn't I write something? I really wanted to write something today. Why didn't I do it? And just learning to find that discipline and that motivation and that sort of routine habit trick of getting myself into the groove. And I just keep thinking, man, if there had been writing Twitch back then, if it hadn't just been video games, if there had been this sort of thing, if I had been able to just go lurk in someone's stream and talk about writing and be writing with a bunch of people, I feel like it would have been so much easier for me to get to where I am. So if I can give that to somebody else, even if I'm just chill background for someone while they're doing emails or even just playing a game or chilling or whatever, I'm 100% happy to do that, because I just know how much it would have meant to me. And since I started doing this, I have gotten to lurk in lots of writers' streams, gotten to have those connections, gotten to have those conversations, gotten to have that help on the days where I just feel really unmotivated. So, you know, if y'all hadn't encouraged me, I wouldn't be here. Oh my gosh, I got an emote. What? Look at that. You guys. It's so cute. Oh my god, it's so cute. Thank you everyone who contributed to the hype train. I hope you get some amazing emotes. Woof, hello, hello. You're one of the people I mentioned. I know you've always been here since the beginning. If you read a dictionary, you're actually reading every book ever written. That is true, because it holds the building blocks of our language. It's a great habit to have. Yeah. I mean, honestly, before I started streaming, I had kind of trained myself to write the amount that I write. I mean, I pretty much just am letting you guys see how much I write on a regular basis. But it wasn't easy to get here, and I know that it takes so much time. So having people to do that with, having people to encourage you, or even just say, hey, if you're having a hard time wording today, that's cool. Word tomorrow instead. Like, I think we underestimate the value of those voices in our lives. The biggest appeal these streams had to me at first was the insight into the thought process of an author and how much effort goes into the whole development of a novel. The hardest part of the whole writing process for me as a novice is the big picture structure of it all. It helps that you're fantastic too. Oh, Bruce, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. You've worked so hard and it's so great to see you where you are now. You guys are gonna make me cry. Thank you so much. I really appreciate, I'm tearing up. I'm sorry. I'm such a I'm such a sap. I'm really glad to be able to share the thought process because, oh, I knocked over my octopus. Oh no. Sorry, Squeaky. It's a good cry. It's the good cry, you guys. I'm really happy to be able to share this is why, like, I sometimes spend 20 minutes at the beginning or 40 minutes like we did today at the beginning of stream just talking about my inspiration for something or why I want to explore a concept or if I'm trying something new, because I feel like we don't talk about that stuff a lot, and there's a lot more than just writing words that goes into creating a story, even if it's a short story. And especially when it's a long story. And I struggled with writing concepts. I struggled with pacing and even things like getting a proper critique and learning what to do with a proper critique or figuring out a story structure, knowing how to adjust my pacing or my framing and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like talking about that is important because you can go and read about it on Wikipedia, or you can read a textbook or whatever, but there's something different about having a writer explain how they apply it and to see how they actually go into their work and move things around, or even just to be able to ask questions without judgment. And it's good to have these conversations with novice writers, with other writers, because I know every time we have a conversation about writing, any other writer that is lurking puts their input in as well, and then we're all enriched by that, right? And I learn too. I learn by talking about this stuff and by going through the process and helping others along the way as well, right? It enriches me as well. So I'm glad that you guys get stuff out of this. That's what I'm here for. So just like I would write this stuff whether I streamed it or not. Stuff would go on my blog, novels would happen, but I'm glad to be enriching the community and giving back to the community and helping other writers find their path. That means the world to me. Oh my god, Urktopers. See, another one that took me a minute. Yeah, this lovely octopus was made for me by It's Woof in the chat. I love this octopus. Look at the little curlies. I still don't know how he did that, but it's amazing. It's my octopus sits on my tissue box. He's king of the tissue box. Right? And then I have my squid up there. It says I believe in you. So that's my constant reminder that I can do the thing. Sorry, I'm just reading an update here quick for... Reading an update for how things are going with Game of Tomes. You can do the thing, and you can do the thing as well. Oh, thank you, Bruce Campbell Soup. You can do the thing as well. Everyone can do the thing. I believe in us all. I really do. And like I said, I would write all this stuff anyway, whether or not I was on stream, but there are days where it's actually easier to do it on stream because I have people to talk to. I have people encouraging me. So again, I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out. I know some days these go really smooth and some days there are disaster streams, and I just appreciate that people even turn me on to see what weird disaster I'm up to. But it always means a lot to me, all the time, always, even when I forget to say something. So thank you. I am going to after all that, I'm just gonna pop away AFK quick because, again, my tea mug is too big for my warmer and I just need to give it a quick spruce. And also, I'll just take a quick bio break while I'm at it. So, we're probably gonna do... I don't know if I'll finish this on one more sprint. I'm gonna give it my best try, because words are falling out of me at a rapid rate, and I appreciate that. But it might take 2. So we might do 2 pretty quick sprints and see if we can finish by 6 PST, because that's when Ghost said he was gonna make dinner. A Spruce Campbell Soup. The really chill streams, it was fun hanging out. Oh, I appreciate that. I feel weird saying... I feel weird responding that way when people say that, but I do. I appreciate that it comes off that way because that's exactly what I want. I want people to feel like they can come, hang out, relax, talk if they want to, but just chill if they also just want to. And I feel like you guys contribute to the chill vibe too. It's not just me. It's you guys being awesome in chat, being supportive of me and other writers and other people who just need a chill, safe space to hang out and relax. Like, you guys in chat contribute to that too, because you guys are amazing as well. So Ursula mug is for coffee in the morning. So Ursula mug is currently dirty because I drank from her this morning. For tea, I drink from the Mrs. mug. And I don't know if any of you noticed, I don't know if he holds it up high enough. But if you pop over to go stream while he's drinking tea, you will notice that he has a Mr. mug with the groom Mickey ears. This set of mugs, the Mr. and Mrs. Mickey mugs, were a gift that I bought in Disney World at the same time as I bought this fabulous Jack Skellington hat. And snuck into my house and hid for 6 months so that I could give them to Ghost as our 10th wedding anniversary gift. Because Ghost and I actually went to our honeymoon in Disney World. So we didn't like exactly have a Disney wedding, but we did go to Disney for our honeymoon. And Flutter took me to the Food and Wine tasting tour, whatever, festival. That's the word I'm looking for. The Food and Wine Tasting Festival, it was about 6 months before our wedding anniversary, and I bought these mugs and I hid them from Ghost, and I gave them to him for our 10th wedding anniversary. So they are special. Mr. and Mrs. mugs. And that's what we drink our tea from in the afternoon. Side tangent, but now you know. This is day 2 without Ursula mug. No, I drank from the Ursula mug on Monday. Although I guess that means it's 2 days since you've seen it. I promise you that I did drink from Ursula this morning. I couldn't stream it because our power was out. Right? I love telling that story because it was such a weird random synergy too. We were in the parks. I was looking around for like what was the stuff I wanted to get, and I saw this pack of mugs. They were sold as a pack. Mine is white because of course they do bridal white and groom black, so his is black, and his has a top hat with ears. But I was like, it's so perfect. They would make such a perfect, and it was It was 6 months before our 10th wedding anniversary. It could have been any anniversary, but it was right before the 10th. So, and next year is our 20th anniversary. So I have no idea what big, crazy, weird thing we'll end up doing for our 20th wedding anniversary, but it's happening next June 21st. That'll be 20 years. Ghost and I as doing this crazy adult thing together. Now I know annoying is half the battle. The other half of the battle is the battle. That's true. I can't necessarily help you all the way through the battle, but I'm glad that knowing is helpful. I promise I did drink from Ursula. I have not actually changed the established routine. I just don't. I do think I do more morning streams than afternoon streams, so I think you guys see Ursula a little bit more often than La Mrs. Mug. But this is normal. I drink coffee from Ursula and tea from the Mrs. Mug. No deviation has taken place. Normality is here. You can rest assured. Let me take that quick break, and then we'll get hopping with more of these words. All right. It is time for more clicky clackies. Gonna click all the clacks. Janine, hey, how are you? How is it going? Tea is nice and hot again. Give me just 1 second to remember where I left off here. Ooh, this is in typo. Sort of stuck trying to craft my outline. Sorry to hear that you're still stuck. Good luck with the outline. I hope it shakes you free. Good morning, Writing with Elizabeth. How are you? What are you up to today? I've just refreshed my tea and I'm actually... Oh, the timer has taken off without me. I was going to say, I'm actually about to start a new sprint. So let's actually hit that fresh 20 minutes so that I don't, don't waste a minute of the sprint timer. Let's see how many clicky clacks I can get in. Relaxing and contemplating, actually very important parts of the writing process. I hope that it is producing some cool stuff for you. Or, if you're not necessarily contemplating story stuff right now, hope that it's refilling that well. Also very important. Whoops. I'm just madly scrolling in the wrong spots. Ooh, this is a good stretch actually, because it reminds me that I was slouching in my chair. Thank you, Halo, for taking care of streamer. Hey, Kai, you were gifted a sub, I believe. I think it was from the lovely Bruce Campbell Soup. How are you today, and what are you up to? You do an excellent job of taking care of the streamer, Halo. I appreciate it. was working on my story layout and character design. Nice, Kai. I hope it's going well. Very, very important parts of putting together a story. I'm about to start outlining a new project myself, and I have to do some character designs, which I'm excited and nervous about. Did some updates to Juno's story earlier. Now I'm just vibing and listening to Artemis and Colin tell me about their stories, trying to decide which one I want to start next. Well, good luck. It can be hard to choose between projects for sure. 60 chapters so far and about 37 characters and support characters. That is a huge cast. A lot to keep track of, so I can see why you try to keep track of the layout and character designs. But that also sounds awesome. I'm glad. Have you written 60 chapters so far or just planned them? Either way, that sounds awesome. An epic plan for an epic story. Yeah, exactly. I love long epic stories. I honestly do. I want to get lost in a world and just read about it forever. I'm one of those people. we've got 5 seconds. I was gonna try to sneak another sentence in there, but I only have a few paragraphs left to go. So I'm really excited because it's almost finished. Where did we start that one? Good question. Here, because I remember correcting that paragraph. So, hot dang, that's another 1,066 words for a total of 2,850. So close to that 3,000. We might just hit it. I think I only have a couple hundred more to do, but I'm really, really excited with how this is going. There we go. Decided to switch up a few more chapters in the outline. Nice! I hope that the new positions of everything helps you get past that being stuck. I almost said that rut, but it's not necessarily a rut. You can do the thing, I believe in you. Thanks, Peter. I believe in you as well. It's my first try to write a light novel. Nice! Every time I try to write something... Every time I try to write something light, my characters are like, nah. But good luck. Hello, one of those people. I'm Peter. Oh my gosh, we're so close to finished, you guys. I'm super excited. This, I know that I've been like ultra focused during the sprints and that I've probably looked like I'm just in a haze because I kind of have been, but I'm so happy with how this scene has gone. It's everything that I wanted it to be and like so much more. Probably when I do this actual novel, I'm gonna have to go back and do actual research on figure skating terms because I've definitely not used enough actual figure skating terms. But aside from that, I'm really happy with how, like, the picture is just being painted exactly the way I want it to be. I love when the characters control your story. You try to go one way and they're like, no. I can tell you so many stories. I have just learned not to argue with my characters, because they're gonna win anyway. They're gonna do whatever they want. You can only crush emotions? Woof, I don't just crush emotions, okay? Sometimes my characters get happiness too. And you know that because you've read more of my stuff than anyone, so don't you sass me. But yeah, I have totally had to redo outlines, redo plot lines because my characters decided... Different people decided to get together, like, I can actually, I think I've said this before, so I actually don't mind saying it, but the Aravalia Chronicles, the project that I work on regularly, this isn't part of that, but the project that I work on regularly on stream, I had originally written an outline where Damarin, the main character, got together with Sesha, who is still a character in the novel. He's a doctor. He's Damarin's doctor. And originally, the idea was sort of that Damarin would go through all of these things in the novel, and he would come back and realize that it didn't matter that he had like a professional relationship with Sesha, that they should basically, you know, do whatever it took to have a relationship with each other. And then along came a different character who was supposed to just sort of be a support character, who was supposed to just sort of be friends, a character by the name of Crescent. Was supposed to just kind of be Damarin's friend. They were just, you know, supposed to be chill together, you know, go out for drinks. And Crescent was like, this boy is mine. And I had to rewrite, I don't know why I've been being coy. I've talked about Crescent and Damarin being boyfriends before. I had to rewrite the whole plot. It had to be about the two of them. And, but yeah, Crescent was 100% like, I get that boy. That boy belongs to me. And I was like, all right. Exactly. You can't control what your character's hearts want. I've learned that the hard way so many times. So now I'm just kind of at the point where poke my characters and I'm like, what do you want? If you would just tell me what you want before I like do the outline, that would be great. Sometimes it works. Sometimes they still throw curveballs at me. I know I have said that I was, it was a while ago now, and I've actually outlined the book that this goes with now, but I was vacuuming my house. I was cleaning. I was listening to a podcast. I was just minding my own business. And along comes Damarin and whispers a cliffhanger into my ear and is like, by the way, this is how a certain book ends. And then poof, vanishes from my brain before I can ask him any questions. And I was just like, okay, care to elaborate? That's what it's like to be a writer, my friends. Always feeling on the edge of crazy. Never knowing when your characters are going to throw a curveball at you. Continuously just trying to figure it out. Just learn how to roll with the punches and give them what they want. But yeah, I'm definitely a character-centric writer. I definitely build my stories around my characters and what they want and what they decide to do. And I definitely am not in the driver's seat. It's always so funny to me when like there's all those memes about how authors torment their characters and how they just want their characters to suffer. And I'm like, I don't want my characters to suffer. Not my like good characters. I have some real bad dudes that I wouldn't mind if they like got their comeuppance, but like I don't want my characters to suffer. They're the ones telling me their story. They're the ones telling me that this bad shit happened and I'm just kind of along for the ride. I cry too, you know? I write that stuff and I instantly cry. And then my husband walks in and I'm like, don't worry, it's just a sad scene. And he turns around and walks back out because that's just crazy. He doesn't. He's really understanding. I just always let my characters choose where the project goes. It's their story. Exactly. I mean, sometimes I try to fill in the blanks if my characters won't tell me stuff, and then sometimes they're like, no, you're wrong, and I'm like, well, okay, fine, then tell me what really happens. But, you know, I don't want my characters to suffer, but sometimes they go through a hard time to come out on the other side. Exactly, that's the other thing, is like, no, I don't want my characters to suffer and, you know, have all these horrible things happen to them, but honestly, it's through failure and challenge that we connect with people. It's how we identify with, you know, people and their stories. And so if my characters never suffered, they would be much less interesting people, and there probably wouldn't be any point in ever writing about them. So, you know, it's kind of the trade-off. But I do chuckle a little bit whenever anyone's like, you just want your characters to suffer, because it's like, I'm the first person who's crying through that shit. I have to find some way to type through the tears when that shit goes down. And y'all think I'm over there having an evil laugh about it. I might have a tiny evil laugh every now and then, but not while it's actually happening. While it's actually happening, I'm just as traumatized as the rest of you. I just guess until they tell me I guess correctly. Exactly! I have two levels of bad things. I have bad things, which are problems created by them and they enjoy and laugh about, but then there are proper bad things, and I plan the bad things, but then at the last minute I bail on it and try something tamer, but it never works. No, that's right, because if you ask a character, does this character really need to die? Sorry, I gotta blow my nose, I'm sniffly. A lot of the time they'll be like, well, yeah. Or does this bad thing have to happen? Yeah, because it's what makes the story make sense. I've changed at least 2 massive plot points, which were what the whole project was based on when I originally thought of the idea. Trying to avoid bad things, or because you realized bad things have to happen? I think what we are going to do is, I don't think I need a full sprint timer to finish this scene, and it's getting on close to dinner time. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the break timer. So at the end, it's going to say time for words, even though we're done. But we're going to do 10-minute sprint, just a little half sprint to get me finished here. And then we're going to look for someone to read. You make me miss prose writing. I mean, I'm gonna be the first person to encourage you to write again, Cosmic Arcanist. If you're feeling that pull, if there are stories to tell, go for it. Hop in there. Tell that story. Get those words out. Create those beautiful tragedies. Do it. I'll be here 3 times a week encouraging you to do it. No spoilers, but I've been told a bad thing happens to Vel and I'm scared. Uh-oh. Trying to avoid bad things because I don't want to hurt them. Sometimes you just can't avoid the thing, though. Sometimes it just has to happen. I wrote a novel, I won't say which one, in which I desperately wanted to save the villain. I desperately wanted the antagonist to have redemption because I fell in love with them over the course of the writing. And I tried every combination of possibility for an ending for them, and none of them worked. That character could not be redeemed. It didn't matter how much I wanted that character to find redemption. There was no redemption to be had. And it hurt. It hurt because I did not want that character to have that ending. But I wrote it because it was necessary. It had to go down that way. I'm glad I can still tell my characters' stories through tabletop RPGs, but I do miss writing. Yeah, I'm glad that you're able to tell them through tabletop RPGs as well, because it's super fun to step into your character's shoes and to think like them and try to act like them. And I love doing that too. I've recently gotten back into tabletop RPGs, and I'm super fond of them. But yeah. I hope that you will give writing a go again. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you had reasons why you stopped, and I'm sure I'm not trying to, like, devalue or erase those reasons. You know, we all go through periods of, you know, for whatever reason, not being able to put word on the page, and that's totally cool, and I respect that. But if you're feeling that drive again, and you want to give it another go, I'm here for you. I'm here to cheer you on. I'm here to do sprints with you. I'm here if that's ever a decision you make. No pressure. But I'm here. This light novel started with a male main character and some of the events didn't work, so I changed to a female character and the idea flowed easier. Nice! That's interesting. I had a character that was supposed to be a guy as well, and then I sat down to write his first scene and everything just came out as she, and I was like, alright, I guess he's a lady. And I just never looked back. I was like, all right, apparently it made more sense in my brain for this character to be a lady, so I'm just gonna embrace it. Yeah, anytime. I mean, obviously, like I said, I understand if people have walked away from the wording for whatever reason. And I totally respect that, but anyone who's looking to dip their toes back in and just needs someone to lean on, I am here. I will be your shoulder. I actually do have, I have one character who's actually genderqueer, and he knows exactly what he wants. I'm the one who can't keep up. But for me, I agonize because I desperately want him to be as vivid and spectacular on the page as he is in my head. He sometimes switches between pronouns so quickly that I can't keep up. And I always constantly have this fear of, am I doing this wrong? Am I writing this character wrong? But I try to just let my characters manifest to me as the people that they are, and learn what they want me to learn, and do justice to what they want me to do. And I'm trying. And Wolf is my like go-to person to tell me if I messed it up. He's always catching me and being like, you know, look at this information and read this thing and think about it this way, and making sure that I'm not straying too far off the beaten path. But I try to be very inclusive with my characters, and, you know, my characters tell me, hey, this about me, and I'm like, okay, cool, now I gotta learn how to write that. It happens. Had him fall in love with the princess, but the female character became close friend sisters and made it more about overcoming loneliness and friendship. That's awesome! I think it's so important to have close friendships in stories. Thank you for saying that, Cosmic Arcanist. I really try. I think it's very important for people in the LGBTQ plus community to have stories that include them and that tell good stories about LGBTQ plus characters that aren't ham-fisted or cliche or just thrown in at the last minute because people think they need to hit a quota. Like, I genuinely think that people deserve to see themselves reflected in media, in fantasy media as well. And I have the great fortune of being able to create worlds where trans characters are accepted without question, where, you know, gay marriage is accepted without question, where, you know, my characters are free to be themselves and express themselves without, you know, the baggage that we have in our world. And I think that's very important, because people can argue till they're blue in the face that media doesn't, you know, reflect life, but it does. And what we see in media affects us as well, and what we don't see in media affects us. And so to me, I think, oh my god, Ghost Pepper in the middle of a super serious conversation. Thank you so much for the raid. Oh my gosh. Welcome. Let's get a shout out for GH0 Pepper. How was your stream? What are you up to? Reminder to everyone, I'm sure Ghost gave this to everyone before he left, but tomorrow afternoon, Ghost Pepper is going to be doing a special D&D planning stream where you, the viewers, get to vote on what we, the players, end up doing in a Winds of Chaos one-shot. Ephema will be there! So head over there and participate in that and create some chaos for it. My Loki is gender fluid. In fact, I have to check with them about any pronoun changes between the Devastation and Micah's story. Nice! Yeah, my character, Silkfoot, is gender fluid. He primarily tends to use the he pronoun, but, you know, he's gender fluid, so I just try to keep up with whatever he's feeling that day. I'm here to ruin the serious moment. We are currently talking about why I think it's important to write LGBTQ plus inclusive stories, because it's important for people in the community to see themselves in media. It's important for media to reflect reality, and it's important to know that what we don't see in media affects us as well. So I try to be responsible. I try to write inclusive stories. I try to make my characters three-dimensional people so that they are not caricatures. And that's the meat of the matter. It's important. Atlantis, hello! Welcome! Thank you so much for the follow! Anne-Marie K. Author, you were gifted a sub earlier! I hope you enjoy those emotes. I want everyone to come and help me create a cursed dungeon. Yes! Sorry to raid and dip, but I'm gonna go make your dinner. Yes, please do. I'm hungry. I'm going to finish this scene so that I can eat that dinner. Yes, please use the emotes for evil, not for good. Use them for the most evil. That is what they are for. I need to go reheat my tea again quick. I believe fish is for dinner tonight. I believe fish is being grilled. That was what I was told earlier. Fish was pulled out of the freezer and thawed. So I believe that fish is happening. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. Gonna try something for the sometime this week and put Wraith into Final Fantasy XIV and see how the journey goes, and hopefully playing the game will help me flesh out Aletta and that world for myself, and also help me with learning pacing and commitment. Nice! Good luck, Laurel. I hope that works out. Ermagerd. Oh, look at these cute little rolling emotes! Aww. Too cute. Too cute. Alright. I promised one half sprint to finish this scene. We're so close to the end. For anyone who's new to my streams or who just popped in with the raid, I am working on a 22 stories in 2022 project. We're writing story number 14. We are 2,850 words in. I think we have maybe 300-400 words left to finish it off. We're going to do a 10-minute sprint during which I'm going to be madly clicky-clacking on my keyboard, so get ready for ASMR, for some ASMR if you haven't heard it already. It is the sound that Ghost hears in his dreams. We're gonna wrap it up. I didn't even think how bad salmon would look. It's not salmon or sermon. It is, I think, haddock? Question mark? Oh no, it's tilapia. It is tilapia. I kept wondering whose emote kept getting put on my artwork on Ghost server. Now I know. Yes, it is I, Ghost's wonderful wife. Give me 1 second. I won't go into BRB mode. I will just put up this nice little picture of me drinking some tea. Give me 45 seconds. We'll get this show on the road. All right. Tea is hot. Words are ready to fall out of my brain. Let's do this. Let's see if we can do this. It's gonna say time for words at the end. Just ignore that. Because this is technically my break timer. But I think I only need 10 minutes to finish this. So let's see. Let's go. I'm so happy with how this scene went, you guys. You have no idea. You have some idea because I told you, but you have no idea. Neon Medusa, hello! How are you? What is up? Oh, thank you. I think I cap out at around 90 words per minute. I'm well practiced. I type for 10 hours a day. Words per minute minus about 5. I mean, practice is really what it takes. Both you and Ghost have incredible punctuation and grammar. Well, Ghost is an English teacher, so that explains that. But I'm a writer, so I kind of have to know that stuff. I will say there's probably lots of mistakes in this because it's a first draft, but I try. I actually edit for other authors as well, so I gotta know how it works. But yeah, the speed comes with practice. Once you learn where all the keys are on the keyboard and you don't have to look at the keyboard anymore, that helps too. And if you're like, how do you learn to do that? Mavis Beacon teaches typing. That was how I learned it. Is that even still a thing? Did I just super date myself? Are you saying the what to Mavis Beacon teaches typing? It's a program. My first year in high school, my computer teacher taught us to type and told us that if she saw us using one finger to type, she'd delete her work and make us start again. Ouch! Ghost is a history and English teacher. He teaches history, English, social studies, and economics, in case he hasn't gone through that whole thing. He's in the kitchen, so if I say something wrong, he will come in here and correct me. But those are all things that he teaches. Done. Okay, I know I went a little over the sprint timer there, but we are done. Super, super happy with how this went. We've got 3,395 words total. Heck yeah. I'm super happy with how this came out. I know I keep saying that. While Mr. Stryker is in the kitchen, can you show us his Mr. mug? Yes, I can go grab the Mr. mug quick and show you. He only told me about one of those. Me and Ghost have to talk about economics now. Oh gosh, if you get Ghost talking about economics, just strap in. Just strap in for 4 hours. If that's what you want, thumbs up. You got it. He'll give it to you. Ghost's gonna give it to you. Show us his Mr. Mug sounds like the most British threat ever. Lol. Get out here and show us your Mr. Mug. One time Ghost came into my chat while we were discussing the sanitization of Thanksgiving, and it was absolutely fascinating. Oh yeah, Ghost will talk about all that stuff. Honestly, I'm surprised he doesn't do streams where he talks about that stuff, because his streams with Kali have demonstrated that people will show up for that. But yeah, Ghost is into that kind of stuff. So let's see, how much was that last little sprint there? I think it was about 500 words. Here we go. 545. Still got it. All right. I am going to go grab that Mr. Mug to show off to you guys. I'll show you how our mugs match, and then we are going to raid, because that is story complete and dinner in progress. I do like to talk to him about politics, so I mean economics as well sounds like even more fun. Oh yeah, Ghost loves to talk about that stuff, and he's very good at talking about it, and he's very articulate. Way more than me. I don't know anything about economics. But yeah, totally. All right, hang on. Let me go acquire the mug. Check, there might be some in the bag. Oh. We're out of pepper. Awkward. Here is the Mr. Mug. As you can see, it's essentially the groom hat with Mickey ears, and it says Mr. Here it is, side by side with mine, the Mrs. Mug. Mrs. and Mr. This was my gift to Ghost for our 10th wedding anniversary. I mean, for both of us, kind of, but I surprised him with it. Because I was the one who found it. And I believe you can actually buy Mickey and Minnie ears that look like the top hat and the bridal veil. But I got us mugs because I figured we'd use them more often. So yeah. For anyone who came in on the raid and didn't hear this story, Ghost and I have been married 19 years now. It'll be 20 next year. For our honeymoon, we went to Disney World, and almost exactly 10 years later, my friend Flutterdye whisked me away to Disney for a food and wine trip. They do a food and wine festival in October. And I happened to stumble upon these mugs while we were down there. It was about, I said 6 months before, it was about 7 months before our anniversary. So I bought the mugs. They came in a pack. I hid them. And then I surprised Ghost with them for our 10th wedding anniversary, because it was a big one. So I have no idea what the universe will conspire to allow us to do for our 20th, but it's coming up. Let's see. Do we question for you, chat? I'll put it to a vote because we have a pretty mixed crowd here. Do we want to drop in on one of our friends who is streaming games? Do you guys want more No Man's Sky? We can go drop in on Andrew. We can drop in on someone who is gaming, a friend who is gaming. Or if you guys want more productivity, more writing sprints, we can drop in on a writer. I've got a couple writer friends who are live right now, hanging out, running writing sprints for anyone who wants to get more work done. So let me know if you guys want to drop in on a gaming friend. We've got Andrew playing more No Man's Sky, which I know you guys were just watching. We've also got Any the Odd is playing Mass Effect. Our friend Flannel is playing Fall Guys. We can drop in on one of them. Otherwise, we'll drop in on a writer friend. Fine with gaming. Andrew is funny. Yeah, we can drop in. We can drop on in on Andrew, aka Dad, aka ATM0. He's a cool guy. Can't believe you guys have been together that long. That's incredible. I know it doesn't. In all honesty, it doesn't feel like it's been 20 years. I mean, I guess as you get older, your perception of time does change. I will say 2020 felt like 40 years, but outside of that, it doesn't feel like we got married when I was 18, and it doesn't feel like it's been that long. Maybe because I haven't really matured that much in 20 years. But yeah, it's pretty awesome though. I'm definitely happy. I wouldn't change anything. Let me get my headphones on so I can hear. We'll drop in on Andrew. I actually thought you were joking at first because you guys don't look old enough to be even married that long. Yes, I was 2 weeks out of high school when we got married, age 18. So we have legit, June 21st was our 19th wedding anniversary. We were married in 2003. And yeah, maybe it was crazy, but it worked out. So I thought Ghost was 23 when I first watched him. He will appreciate that. He will appreciate it. He'll probably burst into flames and be like, nah, when I tell him, but he will appreciate that. Let me get Andrew's stream up here so we can drop in on him. For any of you who have my emotes, please feel free to use them for the raid. Otherwise, use any emotes that you like. Anything that makes your heart happy. I'm gonna do one last shout out for GH Zero's Pepper. Remember, if you want to cause chaos for the Winds of Chaos crew, plus Ephema, played by me, for the next Winds of Chaos session, there will be a planning session tomorrow afternoon on the Ghost Pepper channel. You can vote on every room. The details are on the Discord. I'm not allowed to know anything else, so I can't tell you anything else except show up, sow some chaos. I, myself, will be back next Monday and Tuesday with more editing. The schedule will be posted on the Discord, probably on Sunday. And then after that, Ghost and I are headed East Coast to visit with some friends and family, so I will be vanishing for a little while. But you get 2 more days of editing with me before that. I told him multiple times, and then Collie hinted his age, and I thought he was still 23. Definitely older than 23. Can confirm. 20 years of marriage plus at least 18 years when we were married. I want to say his full age in case he doesn't want me to, but definitely more than 23. Let's get this raid going. Let's drop in on Dad. And thank you guys again for such an amazing stream. I know I always delay the end of stream because I gush so much about you guys, but thank you so much for the hype train. Thank you so much for the kind words and the support. It really means a lot to me. I'm glad to be here for this community, and this community has been here for me way, way more than I feel like I deserve. So thank you. Thank you to the people who came over on the raid with Ghost Pepper and stuck around. I appreciate it. I know this is a much different kind of stream than the kind of stream he was doing. I appreciate you giving me a chance, listening to my keyboard ASMR. 30-something. He's Definitely more than 30 something. Thank you, Cosmic Arcanist. Again, I don't want to get in trouble. He's standing in the kitchen. If I say his real age, he might just burst in here like right before the raid, and then you won't know what happens to me. So you'll have to ask him on his stream tomorrow. Until then, take care, guys. See you soon.